What's up, guys? Average Gamer here. Today, I'm going to be bringing you guys a little topic. A lot of people have already covered this before. The topic I'm going to be talking about is loot boxes. Now, if some of you guys might be wondering, like, why do we care about your opinion? You're a small channel, fuck you, whatever. The size of a channel doesn't matter. I think it's more about the dedication. But that's another topic to discuss for a later video. I wanted to talk about loot boxes. So let's talk about loot boxes real quick. I'm gonna just go on a little rant here. I think loot boxes and gambling are really bad, and I'm sure everyone knows by now how terrible they are, right? I don't have to repeat what everyone else has said like over 100 times. But I actually wanted to talk about this, like supply drops and all that. I like Call of Duty. I'm a huge Call of Duty fan, but I just hate the direction that it's going. That's kind of why I don't play the new Call of Duty. Like you probably won't see any like Black Ops 3 or any like World War II like videos on my channel that much. If you do, it might be like campaign or something. But I I don't like the direction that video games are going. I think it's really terrible how like everything is just pay to win and everything. Like Black Ops 3. A lot of people say Black Ops 3 was a great game, but like they don't even give you any free weapons. At least Infinite Warfare gave you free weapons if you got the season pass. But Black Ops 3, it was all 100% by chance, like no matter what. And I know a lot of people give the argument that they had a bunch of contracts and shit, and yes, they did have a lot of contracts. I will admit that. However, like you still got random weapons. It's not like you got to pick out which weapons you wanted and shit. And even still, some like let's say you weren't there for the contracts or whatever, you probably didn't get any weapons. And some people are very unlucky, and that's just unfair to the consumer. That's unfair to everyone. The other day I was arguing with someone and they said that they almost got all the weapons and they didn't pay a single dime or whatever. And you know what? That's great to you if you have almost all the weapons. But just like I said, some people are not that lucky. And so really, like, I just wanted to talk about that. Like, I think loot boxes and I'm glad people are speaking out. I'm glad people are like boycotting it pretty much. I'm glad people are like really like fighting back against it because loot boxes are ridiculous. Honestly, loot boxes and supply drops and all that is just a big scam. And some people just will never open their eyes to see it. Like people be like, you know, people really like spend money on that. And if you spend money on that, it's fine. You spend money on whatever you want to buy. That's you. I have no problem with people spending money on supply drops, but my problem is when they manipulate little kids, like little kids who aren't fully developed, who don't know what the hell they're like doing, who don't know like right from wrong. They don't really see like the cause and effect of things. Obviously, that's really bad if you manipulate little kids. You know, like that's just really bad. And most people who play these games are little kids. Like most people who play Call of Duty are little kids, and that's just a fact. Like look at Black Ops 3. You play in a fucking water park. You feel like you're a 3-year-old. Like like you're playing a fucking war game, and you don't even feel like you're in a war. You're playing in a fucking water park. Like that's dedicated for little kids. That's for little kids. What type of grown man is gonna want to play a war game in a water park? I mean, yeah, it's fun and all, but yeah, Call of Duty and games like that are meant for little kids, and they just manipulate you, and that just is so wrong in many ways. I That's something I can never agree with. That's just a business practice. That's just a scum move to do. Like that's just such a scummy thing to do. I really don't like the direction like video game companies and all that developer companies are like doing. Like I don't like the direction they're going. And I just really like wanted to rant about that because it's terrible. And another thing I don't like about like I like Call of Duty, like I said. However, the COD community is fucking cancerous. Like it is cancerous. You cannot talk shit about Call of Duty because if you talk shit, you just suck at the game, right? That's the defense everyone has. Like if you play Call of Duty, you fucking suck or whatever. You're like that's always the excuse for everything. Like you can suck at a game and still have fun. You can suck at a game and still like have a good time playing it. A lot of people like some people they suck at FIFA, they suck at Mortal Kombat, but they still play because they enjoy it. You know, So just because you have a low KD doesn't mean like you hate the game. Like casual people play it and they don't have the best KD, but they still enjoy it because it's fun. It's a good game, and like just because you suck doesn't mean you hate the game. Like just because the game sucks doesn't mean like you know what I'm saying. Just because that 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 you don't like a game doesn't mean that you suck in it. And even if you do suck in it, you can still have fun playing the game. That's like think of back like in Call of Duty 4, like in Modern Warfare, the original. Some people were bad at the game. At first people were bad at the game, and they kept playing and playing, so they got good at it. That's just how it is. That's how it is. If you suck at a game, you try to get good at it. Whatever. World at War, World at War, or not World at War. Pardon me. World War II. The maps are terrible. Okay, the maps are terrible. And like, some people might be wondering, like, what type of video is this? Is this a review or whatever? This is just my opinion on like the whole gaming industry, like games that like just topic and like in gaming news, whatever. This is my opinion on all that shit. I think I think World War II is a pretty terrible, pretty terrible game. To be honest, it's a terrible game, honestly. And like the maps have no flow. The maps are everywhere. You know, Sledgehammer made Sledgehammer Sledgehammer made like Advanced Warfare, and those maps were all over the place because of the advanced movement system. So it makes sense that their maps are crazy. And now it's boots on the ground, and their maps are still crazy because they probably don't know how to make a good fucking map. And some people have played like Advanced Warfare, like the no jetpack playlist, and you just couldn't play it because the maps were fucking crazy. They were maps were all over the place. Maps like those were meant for the movement system. This game is terrible. Like there's just like it's like a fucking anthill. Like there's just so many places, like so many corners and everything that takes you to nowhere. Not that it takes you nowhere, but like it just so many like so many places to flank and stuff, and then you just get shot everywhere, and the game is just terrible, honestly. And I know people are gonna be like, man, it took 3 years to make whatever, blah blah blah. Trust me, World War II did not take 2 years to make. Trust me on that. I guarantee it. Activision came out with the statement. They said that Sledgehammer wanted to make Advanced Warfare 2. My opinion was that they were working on Advanced Warfare 2, and then after that, after all the backlash on the movement system, how people were getting tired, they were like, "Fuck it, we gotta scrap all that," and they started making World War II. That's my opinion. The fucking creative class system is lazy. You don't even have a perk system. Like you gotta choose. It's all stricted and everything. You gotta choose between like you can't make your own fucking class the way you want it to be. It's not like pick a 10 system or anything. And that sucks. That really sucks, honestly. Like you can't deny that. I think that is really terrible. That's a terrible system. Like that game only has 9 maps at launch. Only has 9 maps. 10 if you do the pre-order bonus, but who wants to pre-order that? And 3 war maps. Like war maps are fine. 3 war maps. Like in total that makes it what, like 14, which is fine. But all those maps are terrible. The game, trust me, the game was not. It was not. Did not take 3 years to make. Like, how are you gonna say a game like that took 3 years to make? Like, with the multiplayer is all broken as shit. The servers are fucking down all the time. Like, you can't even get into headquarters until now. How many days has it been? It's been like over 2 weeks of the game's launch, and they haven't fixed not shit. But the supply drops definitely are fine, right? The supply drops are gonna be coming in hard. The supply drops are okay, but everything else, nah. Like everything else doesn't work. Like the game is broken. The game is really broken, honestly. Full of tryhards, everyone. The COD community is cancer, and I play the old Call of Duty because the old Call of Duty is fun. The old Call of Duty, no supply drops, no boost jumping. I love Black Ops 2. I love the original Black Ops 1. I love Modern Warfare 2. I play Modern Warfare 2 every day. That game is great. That game is an amazing game. I really enjoy that game a lot. I always play that game. Like, I really always play that game. It's a great game. And I mean, just the state of the gaming community, like the gaming in general now, is just so cancerous. And I mean, yeah, I still play it obviously because I love gaming, but like my opinion, like a lot of people need to realize and like what these companies are doing. You know, they need to realize like, man, like you gotta boycott. Honestly, you gotta boycott. You know, you don't want to buy the game, fine. If you want to buy it, but don't want to buy it, but you don't spend money on transactions, do that. That's a great way of getting back into companies. You can buy a game, definitely. And no, I'm not saying don't buy it at all. Like, I'm not saying don't buy it at all. It's your money, you know. If you work hard, if you work like 40 plus hours or whatever, and you're an adult and you know what you're doing, and you want to buy some supply drops or whatever, go for it, man. I don't give a shit what you spend your money on. In my opinion, I'm like, I care about what the, like, kids, like these kids, like what they're doing, you know, that, you know, they're getting manipulated. They're using their mom's credit cards. They're, you know, they're getting like what, like PSN cards and all that for $20 or whatever. They're buying supply drops, and that's horseshit, you know. The whole system is horseshit, you know. And another thing I want to talk about is pre-ordering. Another topic I want to talk about is pre-ordering. Pre-ordering, in my opinion, I've never pre-ordered a game ever. I've never pre-ordered a game. And the reason I never pre-ordered a game is because I think it's really dumb. I think it's really dumb to pre-order a game. You buy a game, like you pay money for a game that you don't even know if it's gonna be good or not. You don't even know like if it's gonna be worth it or not, if you're gonna like it or not. So you're just giving them the money and like fuck it. Like what if the game comes out and it's bad, you know? That's the way I see it. I know there's hype and stuff behind it, but it's not good to pre-order in my opinion. Like I never pre-ordered a game ever, not because I don't have the money, but because I just think it's a terrible like thing to do. You give developers the money, you give them money. Like think of how many people pre-ordered World War II, and they couldn't even play the first fucking day. They couldn't even play the first day it came out. The servers were shit, and they were still shit. At, like a couple days after launch, they were still shit. Just think about that, you know. Think back like a Battlefront, the first Battlefront that came out, Battlefront EA, whatever that came out 2015. And that game was fucking terrible. It lacked so much content, and a bunch of people pre-ordered it. Like think of that, you know. A bunch of people pre-ordered that game, and that game ended up being really bad because of what happened. Like you know, the game ended up being really bad. No joke. Like you know, like who, like I feel bad. Like my brother pre-ordered it or whatever, got it first day, whatever. And after about 2 hours, we got bored of it, and we were like, "Damn, this shit sucks." You know, he got the deluxe version or whatever, and like this shit sucks. You know, it was really terrible. So yeah, like you know, honestly, if your money, you do what you want to do with it. I'm just giving out my opinion on these, like on gaming news and stuff. Like I think pre-ordering, I think pre-ordering and like supply drops and loot crates and loot boxes, whatever the fuck you want to call it, and in general, just I think all that shit is terrible. You know, it's a terrible system, and I hope people will start to realize and wake up from that mess. You know. Yeah. So until then, I'll see you in the next video, and thank you for watching.